The sun has left.
Your stories don't define you, but how you tell them will. Hi, I'm Sarah Elkins, your host and chief story maker at Elkins Consulting. I'm working on my second book, a companion to my TED Talk that will be released on video in early 2026. Head over to my website, elkinsconsulting.com, to sign up to receive a notification when the talk is live on the Global TEDx YouTube channel. You'll receive periodic updates on my book, podcast episodes, and speaking engagements. My TEDx talk is about how we can use our personal stories to reduce loneliness, disconnect, and division in our communities. It includes a framework to help guide people to share their stories with the intention to connect, not with the intention to change a person's mind. In my book, I'm including a chapter about authenticity, which I believe that word has been hijacked. So what does authenticity have to do with storytelling? Well, everything. The stories we share influence how we're perceived. And even when a listener isn't consciously aware, they're picking up signals about who we are and whether we can be trusted. It's body language, the words we choose, the characters in our stories and how we describe them. Signals are shared through tone of voice and microfacial expressions, those tiny, extremely subtle shifts in your eyes, eyebrows, mouth shape, and muscle movements that aren't easily noticed on a conscious level. If we're not being intentional about the stories we're sharing, we send unintended signals about whether we're being honest with ourselves and with others. One aspect of authenticity I'm exploring as I write my book is its relationship to our comfort zone and what people refer to as imposter syndrome. I'm finding that these three are interconnected, and when I use what I'm learning about them in my coaching, my clients are experiencing real growth and improvement in their daily satisfaction at work and at home. They're experiencing healthier self-reflection and deepening relationships. It was 18 degrees the other day, and Jocko, my 90-pound yellow lab, needed a walk. He was jumping around my office, playfully shaking his rope toy in his mouth, dangerously close to my legs and my laptop, and distracting me from my work. I was so cozy working from my living room next to a warm fire in the wood stove, sipping my hot tea and working on my laptop. I was truly in my comfort zone, physically and emotionally. So before I left the room, I loaded up the wood stove so the fire wouldn't go out while I was gone, and so the space would stay nice and warm for when I got back. I put on my good wool socks with my hiking boots, my warmest winter hat, coat, and mittens, and walked out the back door toward the mountain trails near my home. The sun was shining, the sky was bright blue, and I could see my breath as I walked up the alley to the sidewalk. A few blocks later, I left the comfort of the sidewalk and hit the beginning of the trail. And a few minutes after that, I left the comfort of the flat trail and started up a steep one, my breathing getting heavier as I trudged along the snowy trail. After a mile or so, I got pretty comfortable on the trail and then stretched my comfort zone a little bit more to hike through some fresh snow toward another trail. Jocko and I thoroughly enjoyed that 3-mile hike, and I noticed the temperature had warmed up a whopping 2 degrees. It was a balmy 20 degrees Fahrenheit when we got home. Oh, joy! But the hike had warmed me up so much that at some point I had taken off my hat and shoved it into my pocket. My stretch zone had become part of my comfort zone. In a podcast episode a few years ago, my friend Kevin Strauss offered an image to describe this. It was 3 concentric circles. The innermost one is labeled the comfort zone. The space between the edge of the inner circle and the next outer circle is your stretch zone. And the space outside of your stretch zone circle is your oh shit zone. It's not uncommon to hear people talking about getting out of the comfort zone, about the importance of getting comfortable with discomfort. It's something I encourage and support my clients to do as part of our work together. To experience real growth and transformation, we must explore the stretch zone. And usually, our exploration into the stretch zone is intentional. It's a choice. When we're in the oh shit zone, it's almost always happening to us due to circumstances outside of our control. But if we're consistently expanding our comfort zone by exploring the stretch zone, the oh shit zone becomes less terrifying, and we're more likely to manage the consequences without catastrophe. It's where we build our resilience and our grit. To be comfortable with discomfort, we have to embrace and define what our comfort zone looks like and how it feels. We need foundational support and structure, a comfort zone, to step away and put ourselves in a place where our footing isn't so sure, where we're a little off balance. We can't do that with confidence if we aren't conscious that the comfort zone is still there, ready to welcome us back to regroup and recharge, and knowing that the comfort zone itself grows to embrace what was once in our stretch zone. I'm practicing this myself. I'm experimenting with this work so I can bring it to my clients. And I'm consistently asking myself these questions. How do I describe comfort in my environment at work and at home? How does it feel to be in that zone? What do I need to know about my comfort zone that gives me confidence to step into something that feels stretchy? What is my stretch zone? What's one example of where I'm feeling stretched right now? And why? Am I making it intentional? And am I stepping into my stretch zone with a purpose for relationship building or skill building? My exploration of my own authenticity is a key to making this exercise work. I don't think of authenticity as a rigid, unchanging way of being. My authentic self must have room to grow and shift as I gain more experiences and perspective, as I question my beliefs and my assumptions. To ensure I'm intentionally exploring my stretch zone in alignment with my values, I have to be able to define and periodically review those values and recognize when my behavior might not be matching up. My values create the foundation for my authenticity. That means that even when I'm in my stretch zone, I'm comfortable in my skin. I'm in alignment with how I want to experience myself and how I want to be experienced by the people around me. When I define a situation that feels stretchy to me, I can ask myself if I'm uncomfortable because it feels inauthentic, or if I'm uncomfortable because it's out of my comfort zone. As you consider what this looks like for you, your authenticity, your values, and how your comfort zone and stretch zone are influenced by both, I encourage you to use the analogy of my hike. Think of your comfort zone as the foundation of your authenticity and values. Imagine that foundation expanding every time you explore your stretch zone, like when I added the sidewalk to my comfort area before stepping into the discomfort of the trail. I got comfortable on the flat trail before I stepped into the discomfort of the increasing elevation and snow, and eventually took steps off that trail and into the deep snow before finally coming back home to the warmth of the fire, hot tea, and puppy snuggles. I'd love to hear your thoughts about all of this and how you apply to what you're learning in your life. Are you reviewing your daily choices to ensure your behavior is in alignment with your values? Are you considering what feels stretchy to you and what you need foundationally to support your exploration of that discomfort? Please don't hesitate to send me a message or schedule a short call so we can learn and grow together. Thanks for listening to Your Stories Don't Define You, How You Tell Them Will. I have a couple of requests for you listeners. When my TEDx video goes live on the Global TEDx YouTube channel, will you please help me spread the word? Visit my website to sign up for updates about that. And I'm planning my early 2026 calendar and would love to speak at more women's events, host storytelling and public speaking workshops, and take on one more science or technology startup client to help them scale and grow without losing their strong culture and most valuable employees by developing a communication operating system using Gallup's StrengthsFinder tool. Do you have a perfect introduction for me? Please give me a call.
That's the time. You must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile.